Hi, welcome into my studio. On this video I'm going to be showing you how I draw a small section of the fur, building up the layers in pastel using pastel pencils for the details. This is the drawing that I've completed, and I'll work on that section between the eyes. There's a 4-hour version of this video on my Patreon art channel, and you can get access to that and hundreds of hours of other videos for just $4. So this is a section I'm going to be working on. Let me explain what I've done so far. I've put, I'm using pastelmat paper, and I've done an underlayer in pan pastels, or using pan pastels. Just a few colors. Now on my videos I show how you can do this underlayer with pans or with soft pastels, with hard pastel sticks like Conti sticks, and also by just doing pencils, using pastel pencils as well. So I'd like to show lots of different ways so people that don't have, you know, lots of different supplies can still use these techniques as well. So let's start working on some fur and see how I build the texture up. And a good area to go with seems to be between the eyes. So I can marry up now the detail of the eyes with the fur texture inside. The critical part is to get the direction of the fur, the little swirls of the hairs, in the correct places. And to start with, I'm putting in the darker element. So remember, once again, we've got that mid-tone in with pan pastels. Now we're putting in the darker hairs, or the shadow areas in between the light hairs, in the correct direction. This is one of the more difficult areas as well, because of all those direction changes and swirls. And you'll notice as well, as I'm putting these colors in, I will be using various colors. I'm not just going in with a single brown or a single black. So I'm trying to make this area lively as well. Lively and colorful, but still realistic. And leaving plenty of that underlayer showing through. You can see I've gone quite dark there in that texturized area. You can already see it's starting to look like fur. You can see where the hairs change direction as well, and they meet in the middle in between the eyes. So you can see why it's critical, very, very important to get that, you know, almost exactly in the right way. That's creating the shape, the form of the structure that's underneath this textured fur. I'm just going to carry on working outwards. You can see how valuable that marl stick is. If I wasn't using that, I'd get a lot of shoulder strain, and it would be much more difficult to try and get the accuracy that I'm getting on these pencil strokes. Now this is real time, so you can see it's fairly fast process, and by working large like this I can get the impression of much more detail. You can only sharpen pastel pencils so much. They will not sharpen to the point of a good quality colored pencil. If you do sharpen them and manage to get it like that, as soon as you start using it, one or two things will happen. Either the tip of it will just break anyway, or it'll wear down really fast. So that's why it's beneficial, if you want real kind of hyper realism, to work large in pastels. So this side is much darker in the shadow areas. The left hand side, as we're looking at, is a darker side. I like reference photos like that. There's a lot more drama to them than something that's perfectly evenly lit. So I'm going to carry on now with the darker texturizing. Now I'm going to start to add the lighter layers. So I'm not jumping straight in with my lightest lights. I'm building up the layers on top. So I'm going slightly lighter, then I go slightly lighter again, then the highlights on top last of all. And that's how we get that feeling of depth to the texture, to the fur. Remember, fur has got many layers, so we need to put on at least a few layers to try and recreate that effect. You're not going to get it on just one layer. And you can see here I'm using a bright pencil. Again, on the finer highlight areas, nice and sharp. That's about as sharp as I'll ever get a pencil to go. That's workable, but it won't break. You can see I'm rotating it after every few strokes. That's keeping it sharp for as long as possible. And I'm generally pulling the pencil towards me, and that's all helping to keep that sharpness. So you can see the left side has got just underlayer, the right side has got a couple of layers starting, and you can see the difference then on the depth of the fur, the detail to the fur. You can see easily how I'm building those layers up, but we can still see a lot of the underdrawing through it. So everything is playing a real part in the drawing as we develop it. Now, as I'm coming across here, the haze on the right hand side will start to butt up and meet the haze on the left hand side, so we've got a bit of a position change right in the central part. This side of the face as well is slightly different than the right hand side as we look at it, so I'm using slightly different colours. It's not a dramatic change, but there is a change. You can see how I'm interweaving those haze as they're coming in the middle and changing direction. Those are those things that really make the difference between an average looking drawing and something a bit more lifelike and realistic. So get those elements correct. There's lots of little shape changes. We're changing direction again. Sometimes the lines are a little bit thicker and I'm pushing slightly harder. Sometimes they're thinner and I'm using very light pressure. And I'm going to continue now building up the layer in this section, just like I did on the right hand side. Now as I come in with a lighter pencil, you can see the layers building up even more. And now these haze are just here and there, they're not going in many places at all. You use it sparingly when you're doing the real highlights. It's where the light is just catching sometimes only the tip of the haze or maybe just a very fine mark. Now coming back in with that green pencil, need this section to be just a bit brighter. And I'm really going to town on the detail here. As I said, it's setting the stage now of the amount of detail I'm going to put pretty much over the whole head, but it will then start to fade out with the body and as it all starts to recede. So that's going to make the eyes hopefully really stand out as a centre of interest in the final drawing. So I hope you enjoyed this short video. As I mentioned, I've got a really long 4-hour version of this, so nothing's cut out then. You get to see lots and lots of my pencil strokes and the pan pastel underlayer, the final elements, all the way up to putting in the background and the whiskers. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you all again real soon. If you're looking for even more great art sources, I've really got you covered. First off, I've got a Patreon channel. It's been going well over a year or so, packed with around about 50 or more videos and new ones every month. Lots of the videos are many hours long, so you can see they're really in-depth. Subjects such as turtles, birds, elephants, big cats, you name it, is on there. So that's my Patreon channel. And also on that Patreon channel, before I go on to something else, I've got a secret Facebook group. So only the members are actually on there. It's the most supportive and friendly Facebook group that I've ever seen. I know I'm biased, but it really is. We've got 400 or 500 members on there, and they all help each other. So that's a great added bonus. That comes free with it. Also, you get line art every month as well. And we've just designed a brand new companion website for it. So if you've joined other Patreons and channels and you found it very difficult to navigate around, we've got this free website that comes with it. All the videos are now just a single click away. Couldn't be any easier than it is. I've also got my site, jasonmorgan.co.uk. Lots of tutorial videos, DVD discs and downloads on there. And if you're struggling for reference photos for your art projects, I've got some of those too. I've got 900 plus on my website, wildlifeart-online.com, and they will be copyright free for you, so you can paint and draw from them and sell your work with no copyright worries whatsoever. So hope you like those extra resources, and I'll see you all again real soon.